You may wear sneakers or even boots the majority of the time, but when that formal event comes around, the dress shoes come out. In this video, we'll be covering how to easily clean, maintain, and even restore your leather formal footwear. When it comes to Edmonds shoes, the company has been running for more than a century and was founded in 1922. Their shoes even have been worn by various US presidents, and during World War II, its footwear became more and more popular because it supplied footwear to the military. So it definitely says something about the quality, durability, and fame of the Edmonds shoe. Now, the shoes aren't cheap, but you get what you pay for, and with regular love and care, these shoes can literally last for decades. And because they use a Goodyear welt stitch, which is the method of how the outsole is attached to the upper, they can be resoled time and time again if needed. Unfortunately, shoes today just aren't made to last like they used to be. That's due to fast fashion and greedy brands who cut costs but also cut quality. The Edmonds shoe, though more costly, will actually save you money in the long run if you care for it properly. On top of that, you'll own a high quality shoe that's comfortable, fits to your feet, and looks sleek and dapper. Hey guys, welcome back. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Evan. With each video that I make it my goal to share the skills and tools needed to love your leather, whether that be maintaining it, cleaning it, or even restoring it like today's Edmonds. Drop a comment below if you've ever heard of or personally own a pair of Edmonds shoes. Let's begin with assessing our shoe. Something that stands out to me first off is how insanely dry this derby shoe feels as I'm touching it. On top of that, we see that the hand stitching welt on the toe has worn off and the rubber is coming undone. We'll see what we can do for that at home. This shoe should actually be a robust and supple, rich dark brown color, but as you guys can see, prolonged dryness and general wear has made this neglected leather lighter in color and ashy, so it's definitely going to need some deep hydration and conditioning. Additionally, it looks like the leather stacked heel has separated, so we'll try to hammer that down, but no guarantees. Not sure how it happened, but usually you would need an anvil or a shoe press to fix something like this. It also looks like there's some minor fraying of the threads, which we'll definitely take care of as well. Taking a look at the back portion of the heel, Edmonds put an extra leather panel, and it's obvious that they intuitively craft their shoes. Each time a shoe is put on, this heel portion receives friction from socks, which dry out the leather and make it fade. But other than those minor scratches and scuffs, these dress shoes are going to clean up really nicely, so I'm super excited. Let's get to it. In all honesty, I've worked on various leather projects, but I don't know how today is going to turn out because hand stitching leather is one thing and hand stitching a rubber sole is completely different. Let's go ahead and grab a pair of sewing scissors, some needles, and a sewing awl. The thread that I'm using is specifically made for leather because it's a thicker thread that is coated in wax. Unfortunately, I don't have the appropriate color, but it's not going to be a problem because later on I can just dye it. Now I wanted to show you guys the very specific way to tie leather stitching thread, and it is to first thread the needle, second pull enough thread until the end of the needle, pass the needle through the thread 2 times, and finally pull it up and past the top so that it becomes taut. This enables you to easily tie and pull the thread through thick materials like leather and rubber, and it's going to be essential for us as we try to repair the outsole. So first off, I'm going to be using this awl in order to both navigate through the rubber as well as widen the hole in order to find out where the needle is going to come out at the other end. This is important in order to allow the needle to pass through the rubber. However, I have a feeling that this is going to be way harder than I anticipated. And already this needle is so tough to get through, so I'll have to use some pliers to grip and force the needle through the other side. I will tell you guys, it is very difficult to hand stitch something like this, and honestly, I just want to give up already, but we'll go ahead and see what we can do moving forward. I simply just don't have the right equipment for a job like this, and it may be best left to the professionals, but we're going to try anyway, so let's see what we can do. Now what we want to do moving forward is a saddle stitch, which is weaving each side of the thread into each other and then pulling it tight in order to close up the outsole to the welt. And once that's all finished up, I'm just going to tie it off and snip off the excess thread. And as we've done in my other videos, we'll just burn off the edges to wax seal the knot. Now you may be asking yourself, isn't fire going to damage the leather? And the answer is absolutely, it will. That is, unless it's for the very short period of time that we did it for, which won't harm the leather, and especially since we're right about to clean and condition it. And when it comes to cleaning your leather, I always suggest doing your own research in order to find the right cleaner for your needs. As for me, and the plethora of various types of shoes that I clean, my favorite cleaner is from ShoeMGK because it's versatile, safe to handle, and simply does an awesome job. Let's see it. Now this time I'm actually not going to be using any water because I want to lightly saturate this leather with natural coconut and jojoba oils found within this cleaner. If you're not thorough, you may leave the chance to create water spots or lines. Once the shoe has been thoroughly scrubbed, make sure to take a clean cloth and wipe off any of the excess to catch the dirt and debris. And just looking at the shoe after it's been cleaned, you can already tell that much of the dryness has already gone away just by adding those natural oils in the cleaner. So next, let's go ahead and remove those frayed threads easily by once again either snipping or using a lighter to burn off the frayed tips. Now this next step is absolutely imperative to restoring the leather to its robust and rich appearance. If you already use a specific hydrating cream or mink oil, great, but I'd highly suggest trying this leather cream because it does such an amazing job and seemingly has lasted me over at least 100 cleans. A little goes a long way. Now with this cream, just keep in mind that if you do use too much, it may darken your leather. You don't want to add too much all at once, but if your leather is really dry, you may need to add more than normal. Make sure you spread it evenly and thoroughly, otherwise it could end up with areas that are darker than others. Once I'm finished evenly dispersing the cream, I could simply let it dry from there, but what I like to do is very gently warm up the leather with either a heat gun or a hair dryer. Now there were some comments in some of my last videos about never using heat on leather, and for the most part I totally 100% agree with that, because you can definitely damage your leather and even shrink it if high temperatures are used and if you heat up a single area for too long. So do be careful with that, but as I said earlier, as long as you don't leave the heat on a single area for too long and use very low temperatures just to warm up those oils, in my experience, you won't harm the leather even in the long run. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'd love to hear. Once the leather cream has fully dried, it's best to use a horsehair brush to brush off any of the excess, as well as allow the friction from the back and forth motion of the brush to create a lustrous shine. Simply hover over your leather with light pressure, but vigorously brush back and forth. A common mistake that I see is when people push too hard on their leather when they try to vigorously brush back and forth. Now we can leave these shoes here and they would be amazing, but if you want to take an extra step and use some shoe polish for an extra shine, you can follow these next steps. Go ahead and grab yourself a brown or neutral shoe polish and a cotton cloth. Cutting up a t-shirt works well too. Go ahead and grab your cloth and go ahead and insert 2 fingers into the cloth while wrapping the rest of the fabric with your other hand and then grabbing it with your fingers. Now you're ready to go. Get a small amount of polish on your cloth, but make sure not to get too much all at once. You can always get more later. Then just begin evenly spreading it throughout the leather with light to medium pressure. Add more as you go if you need it. Once you're done, leave it to dry for a few minutes and then grab your horsehair brush and repeat the same brushing pattern once again. You'll notice how much more of a shine you'll obtain with a dedicated polish. Fun fact, contrary to popular belief, not all dress shoes are Oxfords. In particular, this shoe is a derby, which simply means that it has open lacing rather than closed lacing. In the UK, it's traditionally called an Oxford, but in the US, it's a Balmoral. And in the UK, it's called a derby, while in the US, it's called a blucher. Everyone just calls it an Oxford anyway, so at least you know the difference. So as I said before, I didn't have the correct color of thread, so now I'm just going to grab some pigmented shoe cream and cover the thread so that it blends in nicely. Sometimes you just gotta work with what you have. I think it came out pretty nicely, and I can't even see the old color anymore, so I'm pretty happy with that. What do you guys think? Now, I'm definitely not equipped to fix the stacked heel, but I thought I might try a hammer to see if it might work. But since I don't have a shoe anvil or a press, I'm really limited here, but I just want to see what I can do. And it doesn't seem like anything is budging, so I'll either have to get it fixed professionally or have some type of makeshift shoe anvil. Let me know in the comments if you guys are curious how I fixed it later on. As always, guys, the very best way to prevent creasing and cracking is to fill out your leather. Today we'll be using some cedar shoe trees, which will additionally remove odors naturally, but as I said before, you guys can use recycled paper, newspaper, plastic bags. It all works really well. And that is a wrap. I think that this Allen Edmonds shoe came out wonderfully and that it was honestly quite a transformation. Of course, you guys can take whatever brand or style of leather dress shoes and accomplish similar results, but I hope ultimately that this video was valuable to you. And if it was, do not forget to subscribe and please support the channel with a thumbs up. Also, if you did want to try some of our sponsors' products, go ahead and head over to ShoeMGK.com, choose one of the products you need for the job, and most importantly, use my code AVAMIS at checkout to get 20% off and free shipping. I always want to hear how your guys' projects work out, so please let me know in the comments below, as well as your favorite part of this video. That being said, let's go ahead and go to the before and after.